So this is the brand new iPhone SE. The color I personally went with this year is white. I decided to go with a light color option because this is the first time in a while that Apple actually gave the front display a black bezel. Previously, whenever you buy a lighter color iPhone, you're left with the white border, but when the screen is turned off, it didn't blend in well. And this was something I wasn't personally a huge fan of. But now since we're ditching Face ID and we're going back to Touch ID, right now it's actually a really good time because most folks are covering up their face. This is a faster and more secure way, I think, to get into your iPhone. But because of this new sensor on the latest version of iOS 13, there's a couple of settings I recommend everybody to adjust or at least be aware of, so you can actually use your new iPhone SE at its full potential. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down the list and share it all with you guys in today's video. Let's get started. Okay, for number one, first thing first, what I recommend everybody to do is, unlike the home buttonless iPhones, the one with the Face ID, we have no notch, which means you can fit more information here. Like the battery life percentage, instead of seeing this battery icon that just allows you to get an estimate. To enable this, just hop into your settings and go all the way down to the battery tab. And right here, you can actually enable show battery life percentage. And now you see, you have the exact percentage number right there to prepare you throughout the day. Now, I don't know if you caught that, but apparently there's a sensor here, similar to what Face ID iPhones are equipped with. I'm unsure what it does, so if you know, comment down below. Now, when you're finishing setting up your device, one of the steps it actually walks you through is the fingerprint registration. Now, it actually leaves out a crucial information when you're doing this process because you could actually register up to 5 fingerprints. So if you have a partner, a spouse, somebody you personally trust, and you also want to have them have access to your smartphone, you can also allow them to register their fingerprint this way too. Now, to register more fingerprints, you just gotta go in the settings and just go in right here where you see Touch ID and password. Enter your passcode, and right down here, you can add additional fingerprints. As I mentioned, you can have up to 5. So I really do recommend take advantage of this and just register additional fingers by just following that exact same setup process that you saw earlier. So yeah, definitely do check advantage of these, of the total of 5 you may register. And if you want to delete them, of course, you can just click on it and delete fingerprint. For number 3 is perfect for those that use Apple Pay or Apple Wallet. When you set up the card and everything, your default card is going to be the first one you entered. But you may not like that default card. If you want to rearrange it, the fastest, quickest, most efficient way is just simply launching the Apple Wallet app and simply just tap on hold on whatever credit card you want it to be on top. So bring it down, drop it, and now you see here, that is now our new default card. Now, when you launch the wallet app, that's going to be now the default card, so you can quickly pay that transaction without having to close that one and go for the other. Now, if you haven't done this part already, but you could customize your control center. In case you're unaware how to do that, it's really simple. You just got to go into your settings, go all the way down right here in control center. Quickly, just click on it, go into it, tap customize, and add the ones you want to be a part of that page. Now, the ones I recommend is screen recording. You don't have to do the QR code because you could just launch the ordinary camera app to scan a QR. Hearing aid is also useful. Flashlight, obviously. And the ability to have dark mode is also really handy. And once you're done, just tap back and just exit off of this. And now when you swipe up from the top, here are those additional controls. So the screen record, obviously, when you tap record, a 3-second countdown will happen. And it's going to begin recording everything that the screen sees. So it's going to capture your entire screen. And when you're done recording, you just tap the red, hit stop, and now it's saved to your camera roll. A nifty trick that not a lot of folks know is that if we go back and we just hold for a few seconds for a force press, you could include or not include the microphone. So as you're talking, you could allow it to capture your voice as it's also recording. And of course, if you want to quickly jump in towards an app, you could just tap right here and it'll immediately start recording it. And then hearing aid, with hearing aid, if you have AirPods or other Bluetooth headphones connected to it, when hearing aid is enabled, it will utilize the microphone that your phone has and will send the audio from your phone to the connected Bluetooth headset. So whatever the phone hears, you're gonna hear. And then flashlight, of course, it's just a flashlight. If you force press, you get these different levels to choose from and play with. So you can fine tweak it if you need to. And then the dark mode, simply tapping it will turn off your dark mode. Tapping it will turn it on. So let me give you a better example. So dark mode off, everything is white, iOS classic look. And then dark mode, everything is like Darth Vader-like. Now in case you changed your mind when you were going through the setup process for the home button and the sensitivity on the vibration strength, the Haptic engine, you have 3 levels to choose from originally. And if you're like me, you decided maybe it was too rough, you could readjust this. And all you gotta do is simply just go into your settings, go into general, and right away, right here, you see home button. Go in here, and now you could not only play the 3 different levels so you can feel it, make sure you get the right one that you like, but this is where you could change that, select the one you change your mind to, and now you're all set. Now another interesting thing that's also cool to know is, you know about dark mode and light mode. Let's say for example, you want it to automatically shift throughout the day, either a custom schedule or you want it to go by the sunset to sunrise. It's really easy if you want to go ahead and change that. You just got to go into your settings, go into display and brightness, and right here, right away, there's an automatic tab. Simply enable that, and now depending on the option you select, right here, we go in here, we have it set to sunset to sunrise. Or you can create a custom schedule, or you can actually control when you want the light appearance to end and when you want the dark appearance to start. You can change it like so. And while we're here, we might as well talk about True Tone. Now if you're not a fan of True Tone, what True Tone basically does is when this is enabled, it allows your screen to adapt to the ambient lighting around you. When this is enabled, it gives your device like a weird orange tint, like a filter. Some people like it, some people don't like it. If you don't like it, you just disable this, and now your display is not gonna be self-adjusted. But I like to leave it on. It never really once bugged me, unless I was doing like photo editing or something of that nature. And so if this is something you want to change or know about, this is where you go to adjust that. But down here, I also want to mention this. This is where you find your auto lock. So right now I have it set to 2 minutes. So if I just leave my phone on idle for 2 minutes, it's automatically going to lock its screen. If you feel like that's too much, you could adjust it for a shorter timer or never. That means you actually have to power off your device manually. So if you're reading like a textbook or something, you just have your phone on the surface, but you don't like always having to tap the screen to make sure it stays awake. That's where you go ahead and adjust that. I find 2 minutes to be the perfect amount for me. Raise to wake might be something you may be also interested to adjust. Raise to wake is basically this. Let me go ahead and lock my device. Don't pretend like it's on a flat surface, and I'm gonna raise it up. It's automatically gonna wake up the screen. If you don't like that, you can just go ahead and disable this. And now when it's turned off and you raise it up, it's gonna remain locked until you hit either the power button or you tap and it'll unlock your device. Of course, all this is just your personal preferences. And then down here, in case you messed up on a tutorial where I was telling you about the zoom function, you can also go back and set this to your liking if you want your notifications to appear slightly larger than the default. Now you may be wondering how or why I have O's and I's whenever I switch a switch. This is more for aesthetics looks, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do that. So back on our settings homepage, right here on the main menu, if you go down to accessibilities and right here in the display and text size, go ahead and go in here, and right here where it says on/off labels, that's how you enable that. And now when we refresh and go back in that page, all the other ones are back to normal. So if we enable this, now we have O's and I's. This is just a way to personalize your device. Now another cool feature that I missed up most about these home buttonless iPhones is reachability. Just by simply tapping the home button twice, it's just automatically gonna bring down the top part of the screen to the bottom, so you can easily reach everything like so, instead of having to actually extend your thumb all the way on top of the screen. In case you don't know how to enable reachability, it's really easy. Back in the settings, you just gotta go to accessibility. Down here, just go into touch. And right here is where you see the reachability tab. You could just disable or enable that. I like to personally always have it enabled because it doesn't get in the way. It's just like one of those extra features that you have in case you need it. Now I know some folks are upgrading from the iPhone 6 or 6S or older. If that's you, even on iOS 13, this feature isn't here, but it's found on the iPhone SE, and that is a couple. The first one I want to quickly show you, there's no need to go into your settings to change your camera resolution. Now you can just simply launch the camera app, and if you go into your video, you could adjust the resolution right here just by simply tapping on it. So we could switch from 1080p to 4K, and we can change the FPS rate right there. Same can also be done on slow motion, as you could change the FPS rate just by simply tapping on the number. Now another new thing, this is new for home button iPhones. On iPhones equipped with Face ID, this shortcut is disabled, but you can find it right here where you can actually hold the shutter button to shoot a video. So by simply holding it, we are now recording, as you can see. And if we go to the lock icon, it will actually lock it. And now you're actually filming a 4K video, and you also have the ability up here to take an actual photo while you're actually recording. So just in case you're not aware of that. But a feature I do want to talk about is inside the settings, and that is to change the picture format to a more efficient one. By default, your phone is automatically going to take whatever photo you shot, it's going to convert it into a JPEG. If you want to save some memory to a more efficient export, you just got to go into your settings, go down to your camera right here, just click on camera and go into the format tab. By default, it's going to be on most compatible. Change it to high efficiency. This way, it doesn't take up that much storage. But if you're exporting your photos to like a Windows PC, then maybe you might be better off just leaving it to the most compatible. But if you're transferring your photos to other Apple devices that support this, then you're perfectly fine with high efficiency. Now, after you set up a new phone, you might be left with a lot of junk apps, like all scattered around your home page like this. And if you want to quickly move them all to one page, it's really easy. All you gotta do is just go in, force press, hit either the home button, tap on the app you want to move, just keep tapping them, and you're going to end up stacking them up. You can start from the very top and you can just continue tapping. And once you think you have a bunch of apps, a group of apps that you want to move, go to the home page you want to select or drop them all at, and then just release, and there you go. And now they automatically got organized from these two pages, and now they're organized over here, so they don't leave any gaps or anything like that. Now, if you actually use Apple Music for your personal tunes, you might have purchased on iTunes a long time ago, or you actually still use it. I don't know about you, but whenever I launch it, I'm sick and tired of seeing the Apple Music ads, like to subscribe and such. All I care for is just the music library that I actually have stored on my device. If you want to remove the Apple Music ad, it's really simple. All you need to do is just go into your settings, go all the way down until you find the music section. Right here, click on that and just go ahead and disable this where it says show Apple Music. And now whenever you launch Apple Music, it's gone. Now you just have your music library, your radio, and search. No more subscription telling you to sign up for Apple Music. And there you have it. Those are 10 useful settings to change to allow your iPhone to have more features, so you can really take advantage of your new iPhone. Make sure to stay tuned by hitting that subscribe button, because I'm gonna go through a bunch of awesome accessories for it next. So in the meantime, if you want to complete your device, an accessory I definitely recommend is the Apple Watch, which you could find out more about it in this video review. And then that video over there, that's a video of the YouTube things that you will like. Feel free to watch either or. But again, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.